The crazy thing about the internet is I could be a serial killer. You could be a serial killer. The person that's in a room next to you could be a serial killer. You really don't know until they get caught. I would like to clear up the rumors and the accusations before they start. I'm actually not a serial killer. Okay, but y'all could be serial killers. How many do you think are on the loose? There's got to be a lot, and they got to be old, though. I feel like most of the ones that are on the loose are probably going to be like 90 years old because they got the DNA and shit out, and since DNA came out, everybody's getting exposed. It's not a good time to be a serial killer if you haven't checked.
Hey, do you want to know a scary thought? You know,
Yeah.
like serial killers? Well, before they were all caught and put in jail or even executed, you know that they were just living in public with the rest of us, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, creepy. Not too long ago, I covered the topic of serial killers that were never caught. Some of these were more recent, but a lot of them were older cold cases. If you haven't seen that video, it's linked in the description for you to watch after this one. But what I want to do today is go a little bit deeper and discuss currently active serial killers that are still on the loose, meaning
Whoa, they're still active?
that they are very much so alive and very much so free and very much so still in the habit of murdering people.
Oh, Chad, I do want to say this. I don't think Idaho has ever had a serial killer. I want to look it up real quick. Ted Bundy's from Idaho? GG's. Oh, God, I didn't know that. Hey, at least we got like one of the most famous serial killers, though.
Now buckle up and let's get started. We are starting this list with an individual known as the Jeff Davis 8 killer. In the mid to late 2000s, the Jefferson Davis Parish in Louisiana was thrust into the national spotlight due to a string of unsolved murders. 8 women, now known as the Jefferson 8, were killed and dumped into swamps and canals around the city of Jennings over only a 4-year period.
How were they
the
found?
connections between these victims in this case is striking, as all 8 victims were discovered to have known each other quite well, and 2 of them were even cousins. The victims at some point in their lives had also acted as police informants and even reported on each other at times. This also led to the families believing that the police were somehow involved in their deaths. That theory was further supported by the 2016 book Murder in the Bayou. But as far as we are concerned, right now there is absolutely no leads on who could be the killer or kill.
Then it's the police department. I don't care. How do you not know any leads? And it happened in the 2000s. They had DNA in there. GG's. I'm pretty sure Ted Bundy is from the East Coast. Maybe he just killed someone in Idaho. Let's see. See, I told you. Hey, I told you. We don't got no serial killers.
Killers involved in murdering these 8 women. The chance of this killer still being at large is extremely high. What do you guys think? Simply rural towns being underfunded and not being able to solve a complex series of murders? Or did the local police want to get rid of their string of informants? Hence, all of them disappearing and no evidence being found, and a large delay in there even being an acknowledgement of all of these murders being connected in one way or another. It's very fishy, and it's unfortunate that justice hasn't yet been served.
Like, dude, would alligators eat their bodies? I feel like they would. So a swamp? Ted, I don't got any ideas, but if you have any ideas, you could really go to a swamp and dump the bodies, because then hopefully like the shit would eat it. Not hopefully, but hopefully for you. You know, like for hopefully for you, but not hopefully for the serial killer, but it would get found because we probably got cameras and shit. So don't try to do that.
Moving on, let's discuss the I-70 killer. In case you're unfamiliar, I-70 or Interstate 70 is one of the longest highways in the entire United States.
We're watching the serial killers that are still on the loose.
Utah all the way to Maryland. And if you didn't know, those are on opposite sides of the country. So it's pretty long.
Is I-70 the longest?
In 1992, this route became the hunting ground for a dangerous individual known as the I-70 killer. The confirmed cases attributed to him include the death of 6 people.
Thanks, now I know where I'ma put you.
That would just be stupid. If my body turns up in a fucking bayou, you're the top suspect and they're going to find you. So I dare you.
Who worked in convenience stores along the highway. Most of them were young women with brunette hair, with the exception of one male, being the only I-70 victim who was male. Because this killer found his victims on such a long stretch of highway, the police were completely unable to connect any meaningful dots. And even though the police and investigators from each respective city and county were able to compare notes, there was no solid enough evidence that allowed them to get any sort of suspect. And the most progress they were able to make was 2 composite sketches of what the killer could look like, which unfortunately never brought anyone to justice. It's honestly shocking how far technology has come and how seemingly easy it was to be a serial killer not that long ago. These cases only took place in 1992, 30 short years ago. And the fact that the composite sketches showed a young man, likely only in his 20s or 30s, the chances of this killer being out on the loose and alive and even active today is extremely likely. And look,
I'll be real. If I was a serial killer back then, I have like 60, 70, 90 bodies. Okay, I'm gonna be real. I'll be the best. There wasn't cameras. There wasn't even DNA. Yeah, I'd be the best.
Look, at this point, you might be asking yourself, how can I protect myself from these killers that are still on the loose? And the answer is, I don't know. But what I can tell you how to protect yourself from is cybersecurity threats, which is
Why the fuck is the ad damn near a fifth of the whole entire movie? A fifth of the show.
Next up, we have the Long Island serial killer. Like the rest of these cases, this one's crazy. In May of 2010, a 24-year-old woman named Shannon Gilbert disappeared, so the police conducted a search looking for her along the Ocean Parkway in Long Island, New York. And while unfortunately they did not find her body, they found something they did not
expect. No, I heard about this. They found a ton of bodies. I heard about this.
At all. They found the remains of 4 other missing women. What started out as a simple search for missing women turned into the investigation of a lifetime, searching for a serial killer who's currently on the loose. Over the course of a few extra months, police found more remains belonging to 6 other people, a total of 10, and the connections were made. The killer mostly targeted sex workers who put up ads on Craigslist. And although there
which is crazy, by the way. Which is crazy. Bro, Tay, is Craigslist still around? On God, I haven't seen Craigslist in a minute. Yes? How? Who's using Craigslist in 2025? Nah, I'll be real. Just lock up anybody that's using Craigslist. Deadass. It can't be anything good. It can't be anything good coming out of a person that's using Craigslist. Nigga acting like his mom don't use it. On my soul, my mom don't use it. Facebook Marketplace? Yeah, sure. Facebook Marketplace, not Craigslist. You getting robbed, you getting scammed, you getting killed, you getting drugged. I'll be real. That's what Craigslist is. That should be their new slogan. You get robbed, you get killed, you get drugged. Craigslist. Simple.
There was a lot of effort put into a lengthy investigation, and there was even suspects and persons of interest, which is a first on this list so far. There was absolutely no arrests made, and the Long Island serial killer may very well be still active, as they're still on the loose. Truly sad and unfortunate. All right, let's get out of the States for a sec and go over to Asia, specifically Japan. This entry...
I'll be real. I didn't know they had serial killers in different continents. Yo, am I dumb for that? I didn't know serial killers were prevalent in other continents. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was a DLC for US. You telling me it's a worldwide DLC? GG's.
History is not only strange, but also really scary, and you'll see why very soon. As some of you may know, Japan has a huge obsession with vending machines. It's a huge part of their culture, and it's honestly pretty cool and convenient to have so many cool things readily available almost everywhere. On average, there's one vending machine for every 23 people. That's a pretty high ratio. But between April and November 1985 in Hiroshima, 12 people were killed and another 35 were injured due to 1985 in Hiroshima.
Okay, no. My IQ actually might be in the negative. I thought Hiroshima was like imploded. I'll be so dead ass. I didn't know people lived in Hiroshima. I thought Hiroshima was like a nuclear wasteland like Chernobyl. I'm glad that they're still thriving though.
12 people were killed and another 35 were injured due to paraquat poisoning. What is paraquat, you may ask? Well, it's a popular herbicide or weed killer. When the authorities started to investigate all of these deaths, they started to notice one thing in common. They all had consumed a drink called Ornamic C. Now, at the time, Ornamic C had a marketing campaign going on where if you made a purchase at one of their vending machines, you would get an Ornamic C for free. It was a type of orange beverage. In Japanese culture, sometimes the people would place the free drink on the top of the vending machine so someone else could take it if they didn't want it. The police soon caught on and figured out that someone had been tampering with these free drinks on the top of the machine, poisoning them with paraquat. It was almost impossible for the police to track down anybody responsible, and because there's already so many fingerprints on the drink from the person who originally got it to all of the people that may have touched it, and the lack of CCTV at the time, there was almost no evidence. And unfortunately,
and that's actually what's scary. I'll be real. I already told y'all this, but that's why I deadass sometimes get scared to use salt shakers. I deadass get scared to use salt shakers. Just cause I be thinking niggas could sprinkle shit in that. Like, not realistically, like I'll eat it, I'll still use it, but I be thinking about it. Like right before I shake it onto my food, I sit there and I think, this could be the last shake of salt I ever do. This could real life be the last shake of salt I do. But I do it, I ain't a bitch. I ain't a bitch.
Fortunately, this person was never found. It's very likely this person could still be around today, and whether they're a serial poisoner or not, I would say there's a good chance that they're probably up to no good. I don't know about you, but this definitely makes me question any type of free drink I may be offered in the near future. Well, unfortunately, we couldn't stay out of the States for too long, and now we're back discussing the Eastbound Strangler. This name has a very odd and gruesome origin. In November of 2006, 4 bodies were found in a drainage ditch near Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Ew.
These bodies would all be identified as women who earned a living as sex workers in the area. The women all were
Damn.
lined up and appeared to be strangled, hence the strangler part of the name.
Damn.
But strangely enough, all of their bodies were facing eastbound, which is why they called him the Eastbound Strangler. It's a strange name with an even stranger meaning. But what's most strange is that this killer was never caught. Keep in mind, this case happened in 2006, not 1985, so there was a decent amount of technology to help solve this case. And for that reason, there was DNA evidence that was retrieved, but unfortunately, all this DNA evidence was able to do was clear the names of the only suspects that they had because there was
What?
no match. Despite
How is that even possible? Ted, do they get your DNA when they're born? Serious question. Like, I'm expanding my IQ. Don't call me stupid. Does everybody have DNA that's like somewhere in a database? The US government definitely does not have everyone's DNA or fingerprints for identification. Thank God. Yo, let's report his account, please.
there being a $25,000 reward, the Eastbound Strangler was never found and very likely walks among us today. I don't know about you guys, but if somebody goes and
around me.
strangles 4 innocent people, I would say that they're probably not just going to stop at that, which is why I considered them for this list of active killers. And for good measure, let's just add one more strangler, specifically the
Okay.
Chicago Strangler. From 2001 all the way up till 2018, the deaths of at least 50 women in the south and west sides of Chicago have had the Chicago PD stumped. Like in other
50! How is that even possible? Yo, Jinxie, you better turn to Batman and find this nigga, cause he running in your state. Jinxie, this nigga is running in your state. He can come try me. No, you gotta go try him. Jinxie, turn to Batman or something. Save your state. Get a medal of valor or something. I don't know. Put this nigga to rest. 50 women in 17 years. He needs something. He needs something.
Like in other cases, unfortunately, a lot of these victims shared very similar attributes. They were African American female sex workers in the area, and as you might have assumed, they were all murdered via strangulation. Because a lot of these victims and cases have provided no suspects, the term Chicago Strangler has been used as somewhat of a blanket term to identify the killer or killers who are still at large. The silver lining of this case is that some of these cases have been solved and closed, but unfortunately, a vast majority of these strangulation victims have not been given justice, and
Set, is there a serial killer group, y'all think? Do you think there's a group of serial killers that exists?
unfortunately, they likely won't. In 2019, a task force was set up to reinvestigate the cases. Somewhat strangely, in my opinion, they have not been able to provide any evidence to validate the theory that there is one perpetrator, meaning that they believe there's either multiple perpetrators or simply no connection between the cases. And for me, I believe that there's too much in common between all of these cases for these to simply be coincidental and completely unrelated. But what do you guys think? It's very sad and disheartening and honestly scary that this sort of thing is still going on. And the fact that these situations were still happening up until 2018 leads me to believe that this is still happening to this day. And for the last entry on this list, we will be jumping over to Russia. We have the Danilovsky Maniac.
I don't know why I thought this nigga was about to say Idaho. On my soul, I don't know why, but I really thought he was about to say Idaho.
Maniac with dull eyes. He gets the nickname from a vague description given to the police, and he's on this list because between 2004 and 2007, he killed at least 7 women. He's also been believed to be active as early as 1999 and as recent as 2010. Like basically every monster on this list, he targeted young women, assaulted them, and murdered them, and hid their bodies in construction sites around Cherpovets, Russia. This killer left crude drawings at crime scenes to taunt the police, and even with over 200 people being interrogated, and a reward of over 500,000 rubles, the identity of the maniac was never solved, and unfortunately, he is still very likely among us today. One very important note I want to make at the end of this video.
I'm gonna make a quick trip to Russia, find this nigga, do my thing to him, and give the body to police, and take that 500 rubles, or whatever they're called. I don't know what the conversion rate is, though. Is 500 rubles good? 500,000, I mean? It's gotta be good. It's gotta be at least like 200K here, so I'd be straight with that.
Video is that all of the victims in this video are real, and all of these situations are very real and very unfortunate. And with that, I try to be as respectful as possible when covering sensitive topics like this. Let me know your guys' thoughts on these situations, and please, if you haven't already, check out some of my other videos.
That's a good video. Hey, RIP to everybody that lost their life to a damn serial killer. RIP. Love y'all. It's like, this is.